My little deck.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so for interview preparation for product managers, some things have definitely changed. And when I started my product management journey, I was kind of like more business product manager than technical. And as I grew within the uh, within this industry, then I became more and more technical. So what is it that we're supposed to be looking out in 2026? First of all, there are two predictions, right? Right now, either it all goes to shit with AI and it's all deflate and it's a bubble that will burst, or it's going to be continuously expanding and we'll have a lot of growth as it keeps going with AI. Either way, there's points to each of the sides, and it affects how we as product managers will need to prepare for it. So the reason why part of the population says, "Hey, you know what? It's the bubble is going to burst," is mostly when the economists look at history and look at the numbers, they don't add up. And so what they have noticed is that in 2020, there's a lot of spending, and we know we've printed money. And so eventually, because we were allocating money not in the most efficient ways, and it was so cheap to lend and borrow that money, that it will bite us shortly. And hence, also, when we look at the improvement of ChatGPT, let's say, if in the beginning, like with ChatGPT 3 in 2021, I think it was 2021 or 2023, in between those years, ChatGPT, I think, just came out in 2021 as the first version that we saw publicly. And 2023, we saw ChatGPT 3. It was costing like $50 million as investment. Then ChatGPT 4 was like $500 million. And the difference between 3 and 4, yes, we saw some difference. But as we saw difference between the ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 5, the difference wasn't as big, and they have to even roll it back. But the difference in cost was 500 million versus $5 billion, which is huge, right? So the cost still goes up. Perhaps it's going to go down, right? And it's going to plateau, or it's plateauing already. And so, because of this plateauing, they're not predicting that a lot of hyped up AI startups will still make it. But there's a lot of expenses, a lot of money being invested in those companies. So, what does that even mean? So, we have kind of 5 points here. First, creative and human-centered roles will rebound, meaning that people want authentic content. We've seen so much of like Nana Banana and all other solutions that offer these artificial videos, and they look cool, but I mean, how much do you like it? I don't know. I don't personally love it. And so there's a lot of tendency, especially from young generation, that want to actually get real, authentic content and have community and things like that. And actually, Tanya, what you're building with, reading community is something that young population is looking towards. And that's based on stats and the research that we have found. And so one of the, here it is, macro strategy partnership. So companies and analytics companies like this have found that they are predicting that the bubble will burst and there's going to be stagnation of economy and plateauing of AI. We'll see how, if it's true. The second point is AI hype jobs will deflate. So the application of actually using AI for military defense, for healthcare, especially for robots, that will be still applicable. And so you still need product managers there. And we'll talk about what kind of product managers they're looking for and what basically skills you need. The other point is reindustrialization jobs will rise. So as we see that the United States wants to have their own manufacturing, there's going to be more jobs in manufacturing, so hardware and software together. And fourth is tech talent will rebalance towards real value. So again, some of the startups will die out, but that doesn't mean that we won't need these product managers because product builders just go faster today with AI. And the fifth one is longer reflation period means fewer high salary offers. So if the economy kind of slows down, then yeah, we won't get so many bonuses and things like that. But again, that does not mean that you will be out of the job. So for us product managers, the good news is that either way, we'll have our jobs. So as I spoke with Adobe, their feedback is that they will only hire technical product managers who have experience working with AI tools and orchestrating AI agents. And that's a very big deal because basically when big companies are looking at hiring. As we saw this year, a lot of layoffs. I put my money on it that 2026, 2027 will actually see a lot of hirings again. As the companies are saving money today because they are also worried about all these like stagnation of economy, and the AI tools are, some of them are getting cheaper, especially when it comes to smaller LLMs, um, that they will just go faster, which means today when we have engineers working on products, they go much faster. And currently everybody's tightening their belts because of uncertainty with economy. That doesn't mean that these companies don't have money, don't have strategies. And in fact, another point with strategy, I can tell from my own experience at Microsoft, in the beginning of the year, there's a lot of changes and a lot of like first half of the year, basically, the strategy would change because nobody really knows what's the best way. And so as things kind of calm down, there'll be more stability next year. And as things have been tried already with AI agents and what works and what doesn't work, what's scalable, what isn't, then we'll be able to understand much better, okay, these are the use cases where we should work on like new products and applications. Hence, we need to hire more product managers. That's one thing. Both Microsoft and Adobe and other companies are going to be hiring, but they will be hiring people who can actually call APIs or build them. And let's talk a little bit more in depth into like core skills that you'll need. So key interview questions and frameworks. Some of them are staying pretty much the same. Your personal background, you share your journey in product management, including your motivations and key experiences. So whether you have, product manager title or you have some experience that is related to product building, you definitely want to share those stories. And you want to share your notable achievements. You want to show what impact you've had. If you've built your own app, that is always a plus. And if you haven't had product manager title in a corporation, that's not always bad. In some cases, it's actually better because you can work with smaller budgets. So don't think that if you don't have a fancy title of a company behind you, that you are not gonna be a good candidate. Next thing is, so these things are staying the same as it used to be. Product launch strategies. So from concept to launch, so you want to also show that you've launched some products and how you did that in a short kind of story. Again, when you go into the interview, you also need to have some metrics that you'll be able to share. I know it's really hard to like remember these things. That's why as we teach you to be a product manager for the interviews, we always build Excel spreadsheets with these predictable questions and we build out these stories that you can remember. so that you're prepared. And as I'm talking about this, I want to also share that at Upskill PM at our school, we are seeing a lot more startups today reaching out who are really interested, and there's already a couple of startups that can't wait till January for the new batch of students to come, and they are looking for students who will be ready in November. So these are the things that are happening as of this fall. So some of our students who are starting next week, who have had some product management experience, will most likely, if they are willing, will start their internships in November. And one of them is definitely a paid internship. So we're working on ensuring that internships are also paid, which is always a great addition to your experience. You pay for school, but then you're also getting paid for working. Okay, so and again, as you're doing the internships, you want to have these stories of product launch. Moving on. So core competencies in product management that you would want. Again, as I was mentioning, if before you could just roll with some business experience working with customers and that would be it. Nowadays, that's just not enough. So building APIs, understanding how SDKs work, understanding the at least high level how AI agents work, and architecture of it is super important. You don't still need to like code, but being able to use tools like N8N and no code or low code tools is very, very useful. As well as building your GitHub. And we build your GitHub in school at Upskill PM as you go through your experience. User-centric design, we've actually added product design classes with a new mentor. So again, please join Upskill PM because we have not only AI ML classes that are not taught by me, but an expert in the field, as well as product design mentor. Effective communications, that's something that stays with the product manager from the beginning of product management history. And leadership skills. Okay, we know all of that. So we want to, during interview, we want to cover all these 4 sections. When it comes to Google interviews, you always need to hit analytics so that you have analytical mind. You want to show the technical skills, and then you want to show behavioral skills or like how you work with others. Those are the 3 main ones. When it comes to meta interviews, it's very much all about your technical skills. So being able to talk to an architect is important. Business part of product management is a great addition, and yes, you need to like jive with the company culture, but being technical is super important today. And so how do you actually figure out, okay, what should I focus on my product management journey? So it's kind of almost similar investments of time. Data-driven decisions, about one-fourth, one-fifth of your skill set and what you want to focus on while you are being interviewed, what you want to cover. You also want to, so like when you tell a story, let's say about building a new capability, you want to say that looking at the data in the past, you decided that this capability makes sense. Years of experience, it's an add-on. If you say I've had 10 years of experience as a product manager, it helps. But if you still cannot tell me the stories of your achievements, it doesn't matter how many years, right? And if you had fewer years, but you have great stories to tell and like use cases to show, And especially if you have some projects in GitHub that you actually build some things, which again, I'm really focusing during this fall on you using N8N. This is a low code, no code solution where you can build workflows, and it really alleviates a lot of business problems, and you can automate manual tasks within a company. Um, so you have 3 years, you just focus on giving them a lot of examples of your technical skills and capabilities. Successful launches. Yeah, the more launches you've had with different products, the better. Again, if you didn't have any, you build it within a cohort. You can join Upskill PM, where we build an MVP of a product from A to Z. And so within 3 months, you have a pitch deck, you have a website, or some sort of like an MVP of a product. Without it, we do not do internships. So once you have successfully completed your homework, you have interviews with 2, 3 startups, and they're all AI startups. And then you have your internship for 2 months. So this solidifies not only you have a launch of your or MVP of your product, you usually within the startup have a couple of launches that you are part of. So hence you already have some experience that you add to your resume, and within 5 months you achieve more than some people in 2, 3 years. So that's a shortcut. How do you feature prioritization? So again, giving examples of how you prioritize different capabilities is very important. So 1/5 of your interview should be focused on that. And as you're telling about the feature prioritization, use 80/20 logic, meaning which of the capabilities should I use or build that will be like 20% of work and 80% of additional value, and that will cost less, right? And sometimes having fewer features and not building is the way to go. Like sometimes when you come into a product to a team, you actually need to, there's so many features, especially if it was very technical team, you might be the person who comes in and cuts out some of the features, and that would be your superpower. Because as you remove some capabilities, your application becomes lighter, which means it's better speed, right? When the customer clicks around, and it's more user friendly, more intuitive. Again, I want to underline that we brought in a product designer to our school so that she can mentor you on how to do it, how to build an app that is intuitive to a customer.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
better for me to launch my idea, my product, before I'll start the internship, right?
Okay, say it again. You are launching your app.
Yeah, so I was thinking to create and launch my app, at least for my own personal use.
Mm-hmm.
But how I understood it also would be beneficial for like my job interview
Oh,
to
for
show
sure.
that. Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So your app that you started working on before, we definitely want to have a prototype. And if it doesn't go live, which I think we can definitely get that done during this semester, then at least you'll have a GitHub project that will have not only documentation, but some light code to showcase like a light demo of it with visuals. Okay, so I will skip that. I will only just say that at Upskill PM, we actually go through all these frameworks, and this fall we'll be discussing this in detail. I want to make sure that you have your time this evening, so I will be keeping it short so you can also ask your questions.
Okay, so I think we talked about these four main core competencies of the showcase, and this is what we're going to be covering at Upskill PM. I will also be hosting a couple of webinars in upcoming month. Some of them will be focused on product design. It will be a webinar with the new mentor. And definitely, if you're interested in learning more, join our Upskill PM school this fall, because we're covering all of these topics in very detailed way. We will be seeing a lot more jobs in 2026 and 2027 compared to 2025. I bet my money on it. And so I wish you luck. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I will be giving you 20 minutes back. And again, I hope to see you in class. Our next one starts October 20th on Monday, and then following will be January 1st week.